Hi everyone, welcome to a Q&A session for Aylesbury Remembered. I'm going to answer some of your questions that I've asked you to put in the comments. So let's make a start. One of the first was from Simon Holding, who wanted to know, how many old photos have I got? Well, since I acquired the Bucks Herald collection in 2016, it runs into the hundreds of thousands now, because we're talking 70 years worth, from 1945 up to about 2012, I think. So that's a good amount of years, isn't it? So you can imagine how many photographs they've taken in all those years, plus what I've collected myself, and I started that in 1997 from one postcard. And where did I buy that? I think that was a postcard collector's fair, I believe. Yeah, remember the days when we used to have those in the Civic Centre? Very useful they were, my word. He also asks, when did you start collecting them? Well, I said that's 1997. Why 1997? Well, that's the year I started my first book, Aylesbury Past and Present, and that came about out of some other book that came out at the time. And I remember saying to a colleague, why has there never been a book about comparing old and new views? And she said to me, well, why don't you do it? And I thought, well, I haven't got any photographs. I've got nothing to use as old photos. So that was a huge problem at the time. And from just that idea, I wrote to a few publishers that I'd seen on the back of books, obviously, and one of them, Sutton Publishing, actually was very enthusiastic and said, yes, we've got a slot for you for next year. I thought, oh my god, what am I going to do? And fortunately, my uncle, Ron Adams, who you might remember from the bacon shop, because of his work, he was in contact with a lot of people, some old people as well. One who was Peggy Sale, the former sister of Stoke Mandeville and the Royal Bucks as well. She lived down the High Street, in that house with a monkey puzzle tree opposite the Nestle factory. Her brother John, in the 1960s, took a whole load of photographs around the town before and during it was being ripped apart. And yeah, there was some really fascinating photographs. I didn't know very much about the town then, about the past, so it was a steep learning curve for me. So yeah, there was her, and then there was Richard Johnson, who used to work at Hazel's. I got his name from someone in the local studies, down in the county hall there. They gave me his name, and I went along and had a chat with him. And he had a massive postcard collection, and he lent me some of those. So between them, I had quite a few photographs to choose from. And also the Bucks Herald. I remember having a drink with Dave Truan, and I was new on the scene then, didn't know me from Adam, but he was very enthusiastic and helped me out with about 20 photographs, I think. I think he got some flack for it at the time, but yeah, it was very useful. And he was my champion really throughout the years, promoting what I do up until his untimely death. Poor old boy. Yeah, I miss him. Old Dave. What else have we got? Let's have a look here. Will I be doing another exhibition of some of your photographs, which is excellent the last time you did them? Thanks very much, Simon. I don't know. I was going to do one last year for Heritage Open Days, but the job I was in for many years was printing, and because of the place I worked at, I was able to produce the prints for me to make the exhibition, you know. And the company closed in June last year, making everyone redundant. So it was at that point I said I can't do this exhibition anymore because I haven't got access to a printer. So that sort of knocked that on the head. Right, let's go through some more. One from Ray Gill. How many clubs were there in the 60s before all the alterations from Friars Square? I seem to remember about 50. Well, I can't say offhand. I think it was around about, it might be between 50 and 60, something like that. I mean, during the 1960s, well, cool, we lost a hell of a lot of pubs, didn't we? Off the top of my head, you ready for this? The Bear on Walton Street. That's right, just trying to move along. Alright, Market Square. What have we got? Well, Great Western Street. Let's go there. We got the Falcon, the Greyhound. The Coach and Horses in Market Square with the Cross Keys next door. The Bull's Head Hotel. What else was there? 1960s. Yes, the Rising Sun. The Old Hen and Chickens, although that was rebuilt a bit further back from its original site. The Old Borough Arms, I suppose we could count that one, because that became Weavers. That was built further back. That's quite a few, isn't it? Oh, the Plough. The Plough, top of Bicester Road. What else is there? How do you get into creating Aylesbury Remembered, and is your day job very different? Well, Aylesbury Remembered. Well, that sort of cropped up out of Facebook, really. Back in 2010, I started the Aylesbury Remembered group, and that went along for a while, almost a year, I think, until it became so disorganised. There was no facility on it to have albums of photographs. So each time I posted a photo on there, it just became added to everything, and it wasn't very good at all. You couldn't find anything, no structure to it. So I decided to create a page instead, which does have the function for creating albums, and it went from there. It started with a handful of members, and now we're, as I'm speaking, it's over 19,000 followers, which is quite a lot of people, isn't it? From all over the world as well, as you know. And is your day job very different? Well, I haven't got a day job. I am unemployed, I suppose. Although I do get some revenue from YouTube and some from Aylesbury Remembered, even on Facebook. So ideally, I'd love to do this as a job. Between the two, my personal YouTube channel and this, if I can build up this Aylesbury Remembered YouTube channel as well, have two on the go, that would be brilliant. Still looking for work, of course, but you know, you've got to do what you got to do. From Gavin Young, if you could remove one building from the Aylesbury skyline, which would it be? Should I say the obvious one? that controversial structure, County Hall, eh? The only good thing about it is the view from it. I've always said that. It really is ugly. Yeah, I can't think of many others that are absolutely hideous. I think it comes from knowing what was there before. There was some really beautiful houses along Walton Street. You had the old house, which was opposite the junction of Exchange Street, and Walton Cottage, and that was made up of a jumble of, well, they looked like farmhouses, probably. Really, really nice buildings. But the trouble is, they were taken over by Bucks County Council, so naturally they owned the land, so could do what the hell they wanted with it. It's just a great shame it was something like that built on the site. I've seen other ideas for offices. They're more sort of spread out, but that monolith plonked straight in the middle of everything. Yeah, terrible. Wendy Sawyer, what were beer houses and where were they in Aylesbury? Well, some pubs did start out as beer houses. Basically, they're just houses that sold beer, only beer. When they became fully licensed, they could sell wines and spirits as well. One beer house I can remember from my research, which became a pub, is the Rockwood, and that crops up in the latter half of the 19th century as a small beer house, one of 3 plots in the middle of the property we see now, and that became a fully licensed pub around 1937, I believe, when it was expanded by Benskins, buying out the 2 properties either side and creating the pub that we know today. Beer houses there was quite a few around the town. Doing some research into the old newspapers, you find a lot of strange names dotted about. The Stag Beer House or the Fox. I think the Fox was down Cambridge Street somewhere. So a lot of these, you don't even know what buildings they were. Michaela Davies asks, which version of the Jasper Jackson urban myth did you believe, and did you visit his grave at St Mary's? Oh yes, I remember that, as every school kid would at the time. Of course, I believed everything, and it wasn't until much later that I did a bit of research on him. I think he died some years after his wife. No, didn't his wife die before him? I can't remember, but he was a much loved church warden and a popular man throughout the town, so there's no real mystery about it. It's just something dreamt up by the kids of the time, I think. And of course, you do that thing of messing around in graveyards and scaring each other and running away and all that. Yeah, I remember those days. That was funny. Philip Dudley asks, is there any indication that there was a beer house in Mount Street? I've looked into this and no, there wasn't, as far as I could find. Haven't found anything. So I don't know about that. Well, this has gone on for 15 minutes or so. I think I'd better wrap up for now. There's enough questions here for another one, so I shall sign off now and ask some more in the next episode. Let's keep this going, eh? Might be an interesting series. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.